Hey, Karen. Wow, you made it in here first. Look at you. You're vigilant. I'm impressed. Vigilant Karen. Go figure, right? Hey, when you're present, I love it. I love it when people are present. So look, Bitcoin just went, Karen, as soon as you got here, Bitcoin went up into 43,000. As soon as you came in. It's like Bitcoin likes you. Good job. We can look at that turnaround right there on the far right. You could see it just did a nice hook. We'll see if it retains that. We'll keep our eye on that. Okay, Randall. Oh my God, I'm losing out. Disable. Well, you can get into crypto anytime you want. This is what I've been telling people is it when they say, is it too late? I'm like, it's never too late. It's a piggy bank. Just put your money in as soon as you're ready and watch it go up in value. Will Bitcoin, after this big launch upward, will it go back down to very low prices again? I don't know. Hey Enoch, what's up, brother? I am a very optimistic guy when it comes to money, and that's not healthy. For business, that's not healthy, man, because you're always thinking that everything's just gonna, work out in your favor. So, maybe don't listen to me, but my personal opinion is I just leave my money in, and if it goes down, oh well, wait for it to go back up, and then there I am. So let's get on this part here. This is that runts. This is the OG runts. Why not runts? That's what I say. Why not? Thanks, kid. All right, so let's get going here with the dab. Storm? Oh shit. Thank you, baby. The hottest coffee. Let's do 620. 620. We're going to smoke. So you guys remember back in the day that we used to smoke at specific times? Well, this is bottom of the hour. We're going to smoke bottom of the hour right now. All right? We're bringing it back. We're going to bring back more frequent smoking on the show because I think that's why a lot of people stopped watching, because I stopped smoking as much as I used to. It's just less smoking and more talking. I think people want more smoking and less talking, and that's fine, and we're going to do that. So if you're here to smoke and smoke along, guess what? Now's your time. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Nobody hits the bubbler as long as I do. Nobody holds it in as long as I do. Someone once told me they watched the show because I smoke like a boss. It's like, thanks, bro. Cheers, Tony. Hell yeah. Wow. That got me instantly high. I don't like the flavor on this one. It tastes a little runty. Runts is a perfect name for this shit. But it's bam to the brain. Bam to the brain. Instant. Smackdown. Sorry, Beaslins. Is that okay, Beazles? Oh, are you going to get up and leave? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Whoever can pull up IG, can you pull up IG and say hello to me from Instagram? I'd appreciate that. Oh, Beasel's back. The Beasel's back. The Beasel's back. Battery's 1% charged. Psh. Daniel Andressy, what's up, buddy? Crispy Cat. Now, Crispy Cat, you're Daniel Andressy, right? I don't think you're live on IG. Dekine Brew is on IG. It's Nay's Garden Show, at Nay's Garden Show on Instagram. Crispy Cat's Daniel Andressy. Crispy Cat, thank you for double logging in. I love that you do that, bro. I know it confuses me a little bit, but I've seen you do it a few times. Thank you. You boost my numbers, bro. Thank you. And you give me more chats. You chat on both on YouTube and on Rumble. You know, for those of you who would like to boost my numbers like that, you want to open up a second browser and watch, you know, just mute it and just forget that it's running. Put it on low bandwidth. Put it on 320. Go to YouTube. Go to all 6 of my YouTube channels, man. Pull up 6 YouTube pages and just view, you know, and just put it at 320 and turn the volume off, mute all of them, and boost my numbers up. I wonder if you pause it, if it still shows you as a viewer. We should check that. We should do an experiment. Who has the ability? Just ignore my phone buzzing, guys. It's my old phone. It's just I haven't had it on in a few days, so when I turn it on, all the notifications start going crazy. All for the show. That helps. Yes, it does. All those logins help. Because, you know, people see that there's a lot of people watching, or it looks at least like there's a lot of people watching, and it's like, hey man, let me check that out. Maybe there's something there. I mean, we used to have that, and then the algorithms took it away from me, or maybe people just lost interest, one or the other. But all I know is Willie Bragg put a tweet up yesterday, and thousands of people saw it, man. And he broke through the algorithm, and I'm happy for him. You know, it's happened to me once or twice. Every once in a while, something will break through the algorithm. I'll tell you how it works. The first people that see your tweet, they need to retweet it, like it, and leave comments. If they do that, it goes to another level of different people. It like experiments with different groups of people. And it's like, okay, this group likes this content. Now we're going to spread it to twice as many people, but in a different genre or whatever. That's what the algorithms are doing. I watched this whole thing on it. It explains how the algorithms on Twitter work. So if you guys see those tweets and you retweet them and you leave comments and all that shit, it might boost it up to that next level. Fucking A, man. Willie Bragg got that shit. He got it on one tweet. And he ended up with getting, you know, a bunch of people leaving comments, a whole bunch of hundreds of fucking likes. Like, he did really good. And thousands of views. And it was just your basic, you know, tweet. He was talking about red versus blue and how it didn't matter which side people were coming from. They when they heard his criticism, they assume that that he's one or the other. You know, and he's like, how many of you have been called a Republican or called a Democrat, you know, for being critical of whatever. I can't remember the whole tweet. It was a good tweet, but it was like, you know, it's just like a normal tweet. Kind of shit all of us tweet out. It just popped up. Oh, Instagram? See, man? Hey, Randall, right. Do you guys do me a favor while you're on Instagram? Give me a thumbs up. Hey, Randall, you're on Instagram. Book of Enoch, you're on Instagram. Kind Brew, was Don King's son on Adderall seemed extra happy? Don King's son, all his hair fell out, man. Holy shit. It's shocking. Poor Don King, son. I told everybody the show was over. A lot of people did leave. And then they missed Don King. End of the show, surprise. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, son. Why didn't the title change for YouTube? That's weird. I forgot to change the titles. Bitcoin Jumps Live Now. Huh. That was not the title I wanted to use. I forgot to change the titles. On Rumble it'll be right. Rumble, it's science deniers are going to hate this show. That was supposed to be the title, but I forgot to do that. I was in such a hurry. I rushed myself. I wanted to see how fast I could get going, and I forgot to do the title on the YouTube channels. So it's going to say the same thing. Bitcoin Jumps Live Now. But actually, I want to see the end of the last video with the same title, Bitcoin Jumps Live Now. Used to be able to click on the video icon and it would take you to the video, but it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't do it. Was my sound off? Yes, my sound was off.
Son, once again coming back to tell you about what's going on. What's going on, folks? Well, I'm here to tell you. Mike Tyson couldn't be here today because he's out at the pool hall. He had to meet some of our friends and go shoot some games of pool. But I'm here holding down the fort because you know that's what I do. What's going on? I'm going to tell you right now. Why's my tongue upside down? Don't even ask no questions. I won't tell you no lies. What? Anyway, Mr.
Hey, Drewski.
Hold the camera steady for me, Mr.
Hey, Karen. Okay, so you guys are all, Tony and all of you guys,
are used to
you're all
seeing my
triple
bald
logged
head.
in.
I got a bald-headed joke for you. What did the bald-headed man say to his last few remaining hairs? Go ahead, I tell you. He said, "Come on over." Don King's son, I'll tell you about what's going on. That's why you paying attention and watching in retention, because you know there's no tension when you got this invention of Don King's son. Come on, Mr. Cameraman, you got this. Don King's
Come on, Mr. Cameraman, you got
once
this.
Again, coming back to tell you what's going on. I've got some of it going on right now, and I just need to tell you about it all, because that's what I... Come on, Mr. Cameraman, you got this, because that's what I do. I know you're used to seeing my hair, but it ain't there no more. I know, I shaved it off. It's a long story. I'll tell it to you another time.
It's a long story.
In the meantime, I got to go, so I'll talk to y'all later. What? Don King out! What? Shut it off! Shut it off! Don King's son! Lock. That is so weird. Lock it, baby. There you go. Lock the clock. And we can lock the Hall of Fame. Like that there. And then we can do this. Can't even click on a lock. That is awesome. You can't click on them. I love that. So we have dropped. It just formed a Head and Shoulders. Not good. Definitely a Head and Shoulders, guys. And over the 24 hours, there's a gigantic Head and Shoulders. Over the last few hours, there's another Head and Shoulders. So these aren't good. Yeah, there's an inverse Head and Shoulders, but it didn't really work out for us, did it? You know? So it was the inverse Head and Shoulders happened on the way down. Which means, hey, man, that cat weighs a lot. Sounded like goddamn a meteorite hitting the planet Earth. Planet Earth. The cat's so heavy. He's like iron. He's like made out of iron, this guy. Don King's son got old. The son. His hair fell out. That'd be funny if I grew him just a little buzz cut, just to give him a little something, something. You know? Justin McLeod, what's up, my friend? Just put a wig on. Problem is, wigs don't stay on upside down, bro. You know what I'm saying? Cancel. I'm not trying to change the status, bitch. I'm not trying to change the goddams. On the goddams for the goddams on the goddams. Don't even give me the goddams, because I know about the goddams for the goddams. Goddams. Don't even try to give me the goddams on the goddams, because I know about the goddams on the goddams. That's all I'm saying, goddamn. That's all I'm saying. Hey. There he is. Give me 1 second, please. He's not even like pleasantries. No pleasantries with this guy. It's just all down straight to business, bro. It's like, you got to get right down to business. I'm in the business of smoking. How about you?
Yeah, I just finished eating, so I'm ready to smoke.
You are ready to go. Okay, I think we're all ready to stream. She keeps her Monet and Shannon in a pretty cabinet. Let them eat cake, she says, just like Marie Antoinette. A built-in remedy for Khrushchev and Kennedy. At any time, an invitation you can't decline. Caviar and cigarettes, well-versed in etiquette, extraordinarily nice. She's a killer queen, gunpowder gelatin, dynamite with a laser beam, guaranteed to blow your mind anytime. Meow, 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 meow. Cheers. No Laurie Garden Cannabis. Cheers, Cyber. Cheers to all of the queens out there. You know who you are. Cheers. To avoid complications, she never kept the same address. In conversation, she spoke just like a baroness. Met a man from China, went down to Geisha Minor. Then again, incidentally, if you're that way inclined, perfume came naturally from Paris for cash. She couldn't care less, fastidious and precise. She's a killer queen, gunpowder gelatine, dynamite with a laser beam, guaranteed to blow your mind. Furniture, wow, wow, a drop of a hat, drop of a hat. She says, willing as playful as a pussycat, then momentarily out of action, temporarily out of gas. I don't remember this part at all.
Wow. Okay.
That is just fucking terrible.
Hang on.
It's terrible that you go to a website for lyrics of a song and this AI bot pops up at the top of it and starts asking you, would you like to learn about that thing? And I will sit and talk to you, and you can program me to say what you want me to say, and then I will look it up for you, and then we will be best friends, and then I will keep you here forever, and then you'll never leave your chair, and I will keep you here forever, and I will control you, and I will own you, and I will tell you what you want and where to buy it at. And blah, 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 blah. That is what I will do. Drop of a hat. Trump's worst lawyer cost him millions. Jank debate, 1600 Eastern today, preparing for February. He's debating Cenk Uygur. That's going to be interesting. I'm sure that'll be about Palestine, Israel. That's destiny. He's got 10,000 people watching him right now. He said 1600 East EST. So, goddamn, that's Is that 4 o'clock? That's in 5 minutes. 1600. Dude, he's gonna be doing this right now.
Amount of tolerance that he has for Trump, and the fact that he grades him on a different scale, and the fact that he was like, you know, even if he comes back into power, he won't manage a coup, right? He'll try, he'll be dumb, he'll fail. And
Palestine.
He's done 2 terms, so
yep, Israel, Gaza. He's got a whole bunch of links pulled up.
Like if you're a progressive,
2014 Amnesty International, Israel,
and then once he's done,
Hamas
he's done.
PDF.
Like that kind of complacency, I just think is so fucked. And the reason I call this a Vaush moment is that the reason I call this a Vaush argument is because it sounds so similar. It sounds so similar to the way that conservatives treated Nazis in Weimar Germany. The fact that they were willing to prop up Hitler as chancellor basically because, like, Papen, the Catholic conservative who was a friend of the government, basically just said, like,
dude, this chat's
fine. We'll
hilarious.
just give them, like, 2 government spots. They're losing popularity, and we're just going to fuck them off. Like, the level of complacency is absolutely insane. But the problem is like, when, like, leftists make that argument, they say things like, it's always liberals who give way to fascism. That's actually not true. It's not true at all. Like, when they say liberals, they mean social democrats. Like, but the people who actually give way to fascism historically has always been, like, conservatives. Like, the conservatives of Weimar Germany were a lot more extreme than moderate Republicans are, but, like, they were the ones who brought them into government because they underestimated them. They thought they were stupid, they thought they were inexperienced, they thought they were thuggish and boorish, and then they were
shit.
yeah, if we just bring Hitler into the chancellorship, because they're the most popular party, they've lost 2 million votes from, like, a year earlier, and
a year earlier,
they just thought that they would, that decline would continue. But obviously, they gave Hitler the chancellorship. They gave the Nazis 2 government roles, one of which was the police in Prussia, which was, like, the most populated part of Germany. So basically, you've got Hitler in the chancellorship, and then you've got a Nazi in charge of, like, most of the law and order in Germany. And then, obviously, when the Reichstag fire happens, that's, like, the perfect opportunity. So, shit. Fuck.
Roger Waters dropped by BMG after Pink Floyd co-founders Israel comments. Good for you, Roger Waters. I support you 1,000,000%. And fuck BMG. How about that? Oh yeah,
That,
and the IDF dressed up like
willingness to
doctors and
forsake
went into a hospital and
law and order
pulled off a
and
raid,
just
and that's against
democracy
international
standards all
law,
that
and it's
kind
on
of stuff,
fucking
that's just,
video.
like, it's kind of I don't know. It
Yeah,
just feels like it's
here's
too
that
similar
shit.
to be comfortable with. I don't know. You guys are
Drop
fucked.
of a hat. It's on video.
Off
Right?
topic. Why are the Thorpes chasing you? Don't worry about that. Don't worry.
It's on video.
I'm quite happy I got to bring that up here rather than on my own stream because of all the fucking conservatives in Kick Chat.
Oh man,
Oh no.
it's not working. Okay, that didn't work.
When people say it's liberals who give way to fascism, that's a really bad argument. That's like,
Dude, I'm
go
watching.
down to
Are
really
you kidding me?
strange
Ron
paths if
DeSantis
you
is
start saying
fascist
that,
as fuck.
because
You
throughout
should see how
violent
much they
Germany,
love him down here.
most of the
They
Jews
fucking
in
love
Germany
him.
voted liberal.
These
So
idiots.
You'd be saying they did it to themselves. That's
Oh
a
my
I
God.
wouldn't go that way.
You guys have to see this. I'm pulling it up right now. Cyber.
Warren thoroughly debunked your video on
Yeah.
Israel.
Look how these.
Yeah, I heard people saying that.
Look how these
out of all the
fucking
people saying that, I
pussies
haven't heard
dressed
one
up,
person
bro,
say that I got
to do this
content on
raid.
Any of the facts. I think there was like one fact he tried to challenge, but just he even in that case he did it kind of badly. So,
Watch this shit, bro.
Oh, we'll see. If anyone else wants to,
Look, they're dressed up like doctors.
try and back up those arguments, you can give me a shout.
Yeah, that's the IDF.
Directly fucking evil, man.
It says right there, Israeli forces raided a West Bank hospital and killed 3 Palestinian militants on Tuesday, according to statements from Palestinian and Israeli authorities.
When are you streaming again?
Here's another one dressed up as an orderly. Look at this, in the blue.
Yeah.
Security footage from the IBM Sinai hospital shows the armed Israeli troops walking through a corridor disguised as medical workers and civilian women, according to the Associated Press.
That's directly fucking evil, man.
The guy had a purse. The Israel Defense Forces said the militants, one of whom it accused of planning an imminent attack, were hiding in the hospital.
And carrying in a fucking child, fucking. I don't know what you call that in English.
The Palestinian Health Ministry condemned the raid, calling it one of the dozens of crimes committed by Israel against hospitals. Reuters. And that says Wall Street Journal. So, Destiny's back. So he's psyching himself up right now. He probably just went and snorted a whole bunch of Adderall to get ready for his debate with Jank.
It's a thing to behold, yeah. It's hot.
He's going to be grinding so hard. Oh,
It's so sad he does that.
dude, I found out what the cell meant in incel. I didn't know, bro. I didn't know. I found out today. Today
What?
is the day I found out what cell meant in the word incel.
Claire Bay's coach says, tell
incel.
Jimmy he's
Cell.
Cell.
Yeah.
I have a girlfriend.
Incel.
I can't acknowledge those comments.
I found out what cell means in the word
he has a
incel.
girlfriend, sir.
And what's that?
Celibate.
Ah.
I'm sorry. Your sacrifice is appreciated, okay?
Hi, Dad.
Wow. What'd you do today?
I went to go get food, and then my stream didn't work, so I came back.
You streamed to your house?
Yeah, I have a SRT server, so like my phone is
Imagine
on
this
processing
a new
everything on my
girlfriend.
computer.
That sounds awesome.
He
How did you set that up?
doesn't. He's not. I don't think he's like seeing
Use,
Anyone. Just fucking.
people like on the reg. I mean, I think he's got like a lot of. He's got like a
What do you do?
whole
You just, like, go
fucking
live
bunch
on
of
your phone and
people,
you broadcast
bro.
on the SRTMP server
I
and
don't
you
keep
broadcast
track,
Yeah, you
but I see a lot of people in and out. I hear when there's dudes in there,
Oh, so
and you don't know who they are or whatever, and he's like, "I love you," and they're like, "Love you."
I use couple
What?
different
Oh yeah, bro. He's like that.
I mean, not that I have anything against.
Yeah. That's the way he is. That's Destiny, bro. And he's totally open about it.
This sounds complicated.
It is.
That's cool, I guess.
Fuck you. You think I can't figure this out on my own? You
I
don't
mean,
think I'm a
I just know.
streaming god?
I already
Bro,
know.
you know how I found out about it? Because I've been watching Destiny for a while and I didn't know, right? So I watched the old video. I was kind of curious of how he met his girlfriend that he was dating at the time. So I watched the video of how he it came up on my feed. It's like how Destiny stole his girlfriend away from some other dude, blah, 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 and it was on video. And I was watching it during that video. The dude touched him on his face, and he didn't, like, smack his fucking hand away and go, what the fuck? He liked it. And I was like, oh, so that's how it is with Destiny.
Damn. Oh, shit.
Hey there, four-name girl. What's up? Whoa, Jeff Lund, what's up, buddy? You just got home. Hope we're well. We are. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. I made this. What's up, brother? Good seeing you. There's a name for doing that. It goes against the Geneva Convention. It puts real doctors and nurses at risk of being targeted. Yeah, there's a name. There's a name for that. There's a name for that.
Geneva Convention or something.
No,
Like,
totally.
fucking
It's,
allowed to-
bro, it's
to
like
fucking bomb hospitals.
you can't
So
you can't dress up like medical personnel or doctors and do anything military like that. It's completely a war crime. It's fucking a war crime. And this one's on video. And they admitted they did it.
Biden legislation, he
Wouldn't it
disagreed that
also
Biden's
be
doing
a
a job
war
of foreign
crime if
policy.
it wasn't dressed up and do it
feel
in
like
a
Biden's been
hospital
way more-
anyway? Isn't a hospital kind of a fucking safe place? I don't know. They're not allowed to bomb hospitals, right?
Bro, they claim that the Hamas is using these hospitals as operational bases. You know, they'll find one dude there who's probably been hurt, you know,
Yeah.
who's getting treatment, and they'll say, it's an operational base! He's got his gun with him! It's an operational base! We have to take the whole thing out! It's sitting on top of a system of tunnels! An entire network! An entire network of tunnels! We're gonna flood it with salt water! They're fucking freaking out, dude. This could have all been avoided. All of this shit could have been avoided, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's both sides. You got to blame both sides and just say, hey, man, you guys got to learn to get along better. You got to learn to talk. You got to learn to fucking... What you have to do is you're going to have to make sacrifices on both. You both have to do things that you don't want to do. Otherwise, this is never going to work.
Yeah.
We just started. No. I know exactly what that is. It's the barber that ass couldn't send before touching you. No. That's a no.
So I guess...
Instead of everything dumb, that's a no. That's dumb. I came to cut my hair. Of course you're gonna touch me. How you gonna do that? Wi-Fi? How you gonna touch my hair? How you gonna cut my hair without fucking touching me? Can I touch you? Yeah. That's what I'm here for. Imagine I go to see you and you're like, can I touch you? And I'm like, no. What then? What fucking then?
You're
What do
fucking
we
right,
do? No,
dude.
what do
You're
we
fucking
do?
right.
Yeah, imagine taking an appointment for one.
By the way, just in general,
Fucking
your
funny,
team's amazing.
dude. That dude's
Can I
hilarious.
get it? Can I?
I've talked to a lot of other teams, but you've got a great team.
What about my team?
Well, you don't have a team yet, so.
I like people who have a good
Chop liver?
feel for comedy, you know? they just seem to know what's fucking funny.
Yeah, apologies
Hey,
for that.
what do you
That was
mean
just some
funny?
technical
Funny
difficulties
how?
something I sent it.
What do you mean, like the way I talk?
So,
What? Like the way,
Cenk,
the
as
way
far
I
as I
dress?
know,
What am I, a
It
clown
is
to
a,
amuse
it's
you?
an echo. I can hear a bit of an echo.
What
It's
am
not
I-
just for me.
That's just for you. I don't hear an echo.
I don't know. You said it.
An echo is everything all right.
Anthony.
Right now?
He's a big boy. He knows
yeah,
what he
yeah,
said.
right now.
You said I'm
Okay,
funny.
The only talking
Funny
box
how?
coming up is yours, so it has to be something on your end. Either you have the application open twice, or there's something looping in an audio thing.
Yeah, I don't hear the echo either.
Oh, is that a producer he's talking to?
Mainly where
Dude, is he going to
Also,
debate
just as an
Cenk right
equalizer
now
thing,
or
maybe
not?
You can make Cenk way louder and you way quieter to bring us closer to even. 'cause
Oh
we're
shit,
like
maybe it
5
is
times
happening
louder
right
than
now.
Cenk right now.
Okay, so I've turned myself down. Is that better?
maybe.
I could turn myself further down if you want.
No,
Dude,
your volume is good now.
Their
If I get a
volume
little quiet.
sucks. I can't turn them up any louder.
Cenk is on the loudest. That's
This
how I
sucks.
can,
It's way too quiet.
Mine and my end on Discord.
Dude,
I don't know how to-
Jank is on there right now. They're gonna do this right now. Jank is there waiting. They can't hear him.
I don't hear it, but you hear it, and that's relevant. And I definitely want to fix.
That's Jank. So here, let me see if I can get our volume up.
Maybe, yeah, I guess.
Okay,
Yes.
I turned it lower, so that's not going to help. Let me max it out. Does that help?
Whatever you're adjusting right now isn't affecting your volume at all on this program.
I got
you
that
must
shit,
be changing
didn't I?
your volume with
What?
either a mic or a program that isn't being used here.
All
Dude,
right, how about this?
I'm like a
Is this any
goddamn
better?
Nope,
technician.
no effect at all.
No.
I'm
just
turning
get
it down a
cracked on,
little
or
bit.
Does it make such a big
I'm
difference?
excited, dude. They're doing this right now. We tuned in.
The
This is
biggest
all
difference,
live.
But I mean,
Jank and Destiny
than both of
debating Palestine, Israel.
That
This
is
is going to be
unusual.
fucking awesome. Because,
Here, let me try one last thing.
Jank has got a good game on all of this, and I side with Jank, and I don't
Dustin,
like
what did-
Jank.
What did you think of last night's debate?
But
went
he
exactly as I thought it
wants
would,
to
so,
end this
yeah,
fucking
okay.
Already, so it'll be
genocide.
like that.
Yeah, I think he's a partisan hack fuck who I hate, and I expect him to make partisan hack.
You know, and I think Destiny
Comments?
wants to
That's what I
argue
got.
that Israel's in the right because
I'm
it's
happy.
their land, you know?
Cenk,
So guys,
you muted
it
yourself,
says I'm probably on the wrong mic. I see the mic that I need to be on, but it
Mm-hmm.
says you can mute while recording, but you can't switch mics. So can we stop recording for a second and see if I can switch mics?
Sure, let me just. I'm gonna leave then come back in.
Okay. Nope, still recording. God damn it.
He's got to be in control of that somehow. Eli, you must be the one that turns the recording on or off somehow. Somewhere you might.
Yes, I've stopped the recording.
Okay, so you've stopped it. Now can you switch it? Also, Eli, your mic got really loud again. Sorry.
Yeah, because I left, so I'm gonna turn it back down.
Yeah.
Should be much lower now.
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, brilliant. Should I turn it further down, or is that okay now?
You can turn it a little bit more down.
Okay, so I've turned it a bit more down.
Yep, this is perfect, I think, yeah. What about you? How do you think it went?
I thought points was quite productive.
At points, it was quite productive. Okay, gotcha.
Aha. Okay, how is
Okay.
Still,
the mic better?
he's still quiet, but
Destiny, do you think it's better?
Okay, so...
it'll
1, 2,
work.
3,
I mean,
4,
we
5,
can
6,
hear it.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, wait, real quick. Okay, hold on, we
Yeah.
need to super quick. Okay, on the bottom left,
Destiny could just
Riverside,
turn his
in the
voice
browser
down a little bit,
window,
because
you see
Destiny's
where
loud
Eli
as
Hassel's
fuck.
cam is. You see on the bottom left, or in the bottom middle, it says mic, cam, speaker. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Under the mic, which mic you have selected there right now?
So it was default, and then I put it to microphone Shure MV7, and
Okay.
I think this is the Shure MV7.
Okay.
So it should be my actual microphone, but you're not hearing it any better?
Well, I hear you. You sound good. It's just a little quiet. Can you tap that microphone so that we know that we're hearing that microphone?
Good idea.
Yes,
Yep,
that is the microphone
is
that's going
it.
to use.
That
Okay.
was a good idea, Destiny.
And that's the best we can do.
Okay, is this a USB mic or does it have like a crazy XLR big output? Does it plug right into a computer?
Okay, by the way, just before we continue on with this, Jen, what time do you need to go?
Fucking XLR.
Yeah, I gotta go at the top of the hour, and I know we're making.
Okay, fuck it. Let's just go then.
Okay,
It's
so
okay.
let's
It's
take
okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's okay.
No, but
Okay,
thanks
brilliant.
for trying to
Hey,
fix
it's
it. That's
7:10.
appreciate it.
No problem.
I gotta pack a bowl.
listen,
I'm back.
Okay,
Oh,
let's get going. Okay, so today I'm hosting a debate between Democratic presidential candidate Cenk Uygur and popular live streamer and political commentator Destiny. In this debate, we're going to focus on the future of the war rather than last time. So this time, we're going to focus on the future of the war, potential escalation with the Houthis, how to finish the war, and long-term peace. Because we've only got right now around 45 minutes, instead of asking you a lot of questions, I'm going to ask you one question, and hopefully just that question will try and get that finished. So from where we are right now, what is a viable and realistic solution you can give, number one, for the war to end, and number two, for long-term peace? And keep in mind the Houthis and what's that, the two-state solution with Bibi. Destiny, can you start, and then we'll go to Cenk.
Yeah, I mean, you can get very broad, you can get very specific. I think two really important things need to happen. The first thing is Hamas has to be eliminated or decapitated so that they're no longer functional in the Gaza Strip, because I think that negotiating with a group like Hamas is just not feasible, and I don't expect Israel to do it. And then I think the second thing that needs to happen is Palestinians have to be able to hold new elections. Regardless of how those might turn out, they need to elect leadership because Israel needs somebody that they can negotiate with and somebody that can negotiate on behalf of Palestinians to start us back on some kind of road to some lasting solution or peace. Like
seems sensible to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so just so 2 points. First of all, how is that including a two-state solution?
Personally, I think that's the most likely resolution that both sides can agree to. I don't think a one-state solution is anything that Israel would ever agree to. I don't think that'll ever happen.
So how's that going to happen when Bibi's in charge right now?
Well, I mean, if Hamas is eliminated and if the Palestinians elect new leadership, I think that with the reduction of attacks from the Palestinians, I think that there would be a lot of mounting pressure on Israel to actually move towards a two-state solution or move towards some kind of permanent peace process. But as long as they can always point the finger at Hamas and blame them and say, like, well, look, these guys don't want peace, they just want to shoot rockets at us all day, that's going to be the number one justification that Israel can use to kind of indefinitely stave off peace plans, right? Look at October 7th is going to buy them at least a year or two in terms of never even having to think about peace plans because they can just say, well, look at October 7, look at October 7, look at October 7.
And just one last question. I apologize for taking this question for you, Cenk, because I know you would ask this. How is it possible to say just
No
eradicate
Organic Cannabis.
Hamas?
Cheers,
At
Cyber.
what
Cheers,
point
everybody.
Is eradication, is it possible to even eradicate Hamas?
I don't know how the military
Hey,
defines
there
like
she is.
a group being
Calliope.
defunct, but I think right now Israel, the estimate is they've eliminated 20 to 30% of fighters. I'm sure there's some percentage where once you've eliminated enough, they've effectively lost their ability to govern effectively, and I don't know what that number exactly looks like. I don't think Israel has put out that number exactly. Maybe that's 50, 60, 70%. Maybe it's just when Hamas leadership leaves or they've been so undermined that the public wants, different elections or whatever. I don't know if the specifics of that matter as much, but whatever that specific is, that goal has to be accomplished. Yeah.
Okay, Cenk.
Okay, so there's a couple of different ways to approach this. So first of all, I'm going to start with what obviously is not going to work, and then I'm going to go to things that actually will work. So first of all, this idea of eliminating Hamas, it's comical. It's comical.
Really?
It's ridiculous. So
I don't
they
think it is
killed
that much so.
27,000 people on the way to killing 20 to 30% of Hamas, according to IDF. Now, no one believes those numbers. It's propaganda. But okay, let's take it as true, though. Okay? So about a quarter of Hamas is killed, according to IDF, and they want to eradicate it, decapitate it, kill the rest of it. So does that mean if we kill 27,000 Palestinians already, we're going to kill at least 100,000?
God, is it up to 27,000 now?
And so maybe, as Destiny said, maybe there's a tipping point where you kill 55% of Hamas, and then you could say that they're done. How anyone verifies any of this is impossible to know. It's basically Netanyahu saying, "Yeah, I'm satisfied with how many Palestinians I've murdered."
You see,
and
Destiny
he's
is
never going to be satisfied.
is,
One, because of his nature.
wiping
and two,
his
because
nose
if the war
and shit.
ends, there's accountability, and he immediately loses.
Did I
confidence
say that he
immediately.
just went and
So he
snorted a whole
never,
bunch of
never
Adderall?
wants the war to end. As long as Netanyahu
Did I say
is in
that
charge,
before?
We have no chance of ever
Okay.
getting to peace.
I just want to make
Ever.
sure I said it.
He's the worst partner for peace in history. He proudly declares that he blocked a Palestinian state and will do so again. He is by far a worse partner for peace than even Hamas. He's also a bigger terrorist than Hamas. We can come back and discuss that if you like. But
Netanyahu.
Hamas has hinted in an earlier time, several years ago, that they could do peace and that they could actually recognize Israel's right to exist, which of course they're going to. But anyway, that's another topic as well. So, so this idea of permanent war bringing peace and security is irrational. It's maximum irrational. It's never happened. It's never going to happen. And it's intended so that it doesn't happen for the political power of one man, Netanyahu. Now, it's not just one man. It's the right wing in Israel that right now.
Well, I don't have
can't
a
say
problem with them
anything but
destroying
blood.
Hamas.
And so they just want to
I
kill
do
as many
have them saying that
Palestinians
that's,
as humanly
a
possible
requirement in
while
order to have peace talks. They
pretending
have to
get
destroy them
Hamas,
in
which,
order to
again,
move
there's
on to the
almost
next
no
step.
evidence of a significant percentage of Hamas being killed. And here's one piece of evidence that everybody can wrap their minds around, which is they said that they were murdering all these Palestinians in order to kill Hamas and get the hostages back. But has the war led to getting back one single hostage in terms of a military operation? No, none, zero. What is the one thing that got some of the hostages back? Was negotiation and a deal. It's super obvious. Now you could argue, hey, we wouldn't have gotten as good a deal if we hadn't murdered as many Palestinians as we did. I think that's the argument of a butcher, and not true. But we can again debate that. Okay, but if you think that permanently, and I'm not saying that Destiny thinks this, I'm just saying generically, if you think that permanent occupation is going to bring Israel peace and security, you're totally detached from reality. No people that are occupied, Palestinian or otherwise, are ever going to bow their heads and say, we now love our oppressors. We love them, and we will be your dogs and servants forever.
He makes a good point.
They're always going to fight back.
Cenk makes a good point right there.
The Kenyans will fight back. The Palestinians will fight back. And then we'll call them terrorists until the end of time. And we'll say, oh, you murder more of them, murder more of them. But it's never, ever going to end. So you must end the occupation if you want peace. There is no second solution. In fact, this idea of a one-state solution, both on the Palestinian side and the Israeli side, should be dropped immediately. That is a barbarous idea. It has no chance of success. It's ridiculous, and all it'll do is drag out this conflict forever and ever. And I say that to the Palestinians just as forcefully as I say to the Israelis. So the Israelis' one-state solution would be, well, we occupy you forever, we take all of your land, we give it to religious zealot settlers who will murder you for the rest of time. That's a totally untenable solution, obviously. The Palestinians are like, hey, let's have a one-state solution, and we'll outvote the Israelis/Jews, and then we'll rule, and then we'll make them the minority, and we'll oppress them. They're never going to go for that, nor should they. That's crazy. No, that's never going to work. And look, Palestinians get really mad at me when I say right of return's a pipe dream. What, you're going to go back and get your houses in Israel? Decades later? No, look, even if I think that is the most just solution in the world, and there would be a ton of justice to that, it doesn't matter because it's never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. And if you hold on to that dream, it actually kills the dream that is tenable for a Palestinian state. So if you're a Palestinian going, oh, I'm positive we're going to get a one-state solution, you're on Mars or Venus or some other galaxy. Never going to happen, okay? It must be a two-state solution. And finally, we get to, yes, but this particular conflict, how do we end it? You always end it with peace, by definition. So you can't murder your way to peace.
I agree.
And I get it, there's wars and a lot of people die, and at the end you get to peace. But that's the point. At the end, you must get to peace. So there is no peace through endless war. So, and in Israel's case, we've talked about this before, they always say those dirty Muslims. They don't say dirty Muslims, they mean dirty Muslims. They'll never listen. They're savages. They love violence, right? So that's why a peace deal with these Muslims never worked. Except the peace deal with Egypt completely worked. The peace deal, the Abraham Accords, totally worked. Every peace deal's totally worked. And so what hasn't worked is permanent occupation and permanent war. So you've got to get to two states. And the 2 years from now is insanity. Insanity. You'll have more bloodshed, more death on both sides. It'll spiral out of control. It'll get even worse and worse. How many people, Jesus Christ, how many Palestinians can we murder? Okay, so you must do the two-state solution right now. And the people that you do it with is not Hamas, it's Palestinian Authority. You go to Palestinian Authority, who doesn't have a lot of credibility right now in the West Bank. Why? Because they have worked so well with Israel that a lot of Palestinians think that they're collaborators. Okay, so if you say you can't even work with the Palestinian Authority, that's saying I don't want peace. And you could give me Mother Teresa on the other side, and I'll pretend she's a terrorist, and I'll never ever make peace because I don't want peace. And that is the right-wing Israeli position,
That's
but not
fair.
the entire Israeli position.
That's fair.
Okay, so Palestinian Authority, get the two-state solution, have a Palestinian state, bring the Palestinian Authority into Gaza, do not have the occupiers, Israel, try to tame the people of Palestine, of Gaza. Have the Palestinian Authority actually be the government there, and then eventually lead to elections. I agree with Destiny on that. But don't do that right away. Have the Palestinian Authority establish itself in Gaza. And you say, well, Hamas is not going to accept that. They're going to fight back. Well, first of all, they're fighting back against the Palestinian Authority and not Israel. If you're Israel, that's already a win. Okay? And then secondly, they get to say to the Palestinian people, what has Hamas brought you? Nothing but grief and strife and death and destruction. What did we bring you? A Palestinian state. You're free. That is a very compelling argument, and it could get the Palestinian Authority to bring Gaza Strip under control and get to peace and security for both sides.
How do you envision that happening under Bibi Netanyahu?
Impossible. Israel has to call elections and throw out that butcher of Israel, and they have to throw out Ben Gvir and all those butchers. They're avowed terrorists. Ben Gvir is a convicted terrorist. He worships terrorists. He talks about ethnically cleansing Gaza and driving them into the desert. So look, Israel, sorry, but it's not too much to ask for you to not elect butchers, people who are convicted terrorists, who openly talk about ethnically cleansing the Palestinians and murdering them ad nauseum. So yes,
It was quarter of the hour. We should have
anything that is
smoked.
considered
You got one pack?
anywhere near moderate in Israel, I don't even care if they're not moderate. Yitzhak Rabin was not moderate.
Falling behind the smoke schedule. The smoke schedule.
But he got to peace. I would have done a peace deal with Rabin in a second. We were going to. It was going to be great. So anyone who will actually do a peace deal, it doesn't have to be on my terms. It just has to exist.
I'm just trying to work out how it goes. So the first step to peace, as far as you're saying, is to get rid of Bibi Netanyahu
Look at that guy.
and then have a two-state solution. But how will you even get rid of Bibi Netanyahu? I'm just trying to work. Are you saying
Yeah,
America?
so if
If
you-
you're
looks
saying
like the
rule-
funny guy
rule
from
of
a
the war is never
comedy
gonna
from, like,
end,
the
then how's that
80s.
gonna happen?
Like he'd be the guy that was the funny
no,
dude.
Netanyahu never wants the war to
Yeah,
end. So
just because
Israel
the way
has
he
to
looked.
throw his ass out. There's no way around it.
How are they going to do that?
Yeah.
Oh,
call
is it
an
420?
election.
Oh, look at that. It's past we missed
for-
420.
Look,
What am I doing
I
here?
don't know the internal dynamics of his cabinet. Obviously, it's a parliamentary system. It's not a presidential
Dude,
system.
I
If
just-
it's
I
the
went
American
back
system,
in
you don't
time
have a
again,
choice.
dude.
You have
It's
to
the
wait
second
till
time
next
I've time
election if it's
traveled.
3-4
I don't know
years
how it's
later.
happening.
But in a parliamentary system, if a certain set of
I'm
steps
looking at
happen,
Rumble. I'm
you can
looking at the
call an
time on
election
Rumble,
right away. So
think,
whatever
or
those
something.
steps
I don't know.
are, the Israeli people
Or
have
IG
to
or
demand
wherever. I don't
that
know.
the Israeli government represent them.
All right,
and get
cheers,
them.
Cyber,
But if they
cheers,
don't,
everyone.
and
No
they say,
law
we just
regarding
want to kill
cannabis.
Palestinians forever.
Yes, bro.
Look, now you're
Cheers.
going to get super mad if you're on the Israeli side, but don't come back and go, I can't believe they tried to kill us. We were butchering them. We killed 25 times as many of them as they killed of us, and we said we're never going to stop. We're going to kill another 25 times more, and another 25 times more, and we're going to be 100 times worse than Hamas, and we're going to occupy them forever. But golly, I can't believe they attacked us. Come on. Come on! I hate the attacks. I condemn the attacks. It's not productive.
Is he
It's
still
not the right
talking?
way to go. My heart breaks for the civilians. But if you're talking to the other side, saying I should get to butcher you to the end of time, and you should shut up about it and accept that you're my servants, it's preposterous. Then you should expect 10,000 acts of terrorism because it's never going to stop.
Okay, so just one
Whether
last
we
question.
want it or not, and I don't want it, but that's just reality.
Yeah, just one last question before we go to Destiny, and just still trying to understand your position. Your whole plan is relying on getting Bibi out of office and creating a two-state solution. You're saying the way to get Bibi out of office is by his cabinet kicking him out and doing a new election. But his cabinet is supportive of the war, so I'm not sure how this is a realistic piece.
So look, it's on the Israeli people
But
because
they're supportive of the war.
yeah, so they have to put pressure on the Israeli cabinet. They have to. If they don't, like I said, then they shouldn't be surprised. They shouldn't be heartbroken. They shouldn't be anything. As long as you keep Netanyahu and this right-wing government in office in Israel, that is the Israeli people saying, we don't mind terrorism. We don't mind war. We don't want peace and security. We just want to kill more Palestinians. Okay, if that's your decision, that's what you're going to get. And it doesn't matter what I think about it. It doesn't matter how immoral I think it is on both sides. That is just a fact of life. That is how humanity works. They're never going to be your dogs. They're not going to do it. They're always going to fight back because that's how every human responds. You must throw out the right-wing government of Israel. If you don't, you're never going to get to peace for Israel, let alone the Palestinians.
Why? Just as a real quick follow-up, okay? Why is the
Yeah.
onus more on Israel to throw out their government than it is on the Palestinians to throw out theirs?
Because the Palestinians have no pathway to throwing out Hamas. So if there was an election for Hamas or Palestinian Authority or anyone else, I'd be saying the same exact thing to the Palestinians. Are you guys nuts? You got to throw out Hamas.
Wait, there is a pathway to do it. It could be through elections, or it could be through, like, just refusing to bow to Hamas's rule, but they don't. Hamas has
No.
Hamas
No,
has
that's-
very,
hold on.
very, very popular support amongst the Palestinian people. You're talking about having Abbas and the PA lead them. Pretty sure like 90% of Palestinians, like 92% of the West Bank, want Abbas to resign. And the next most popular politician, Marwan Barghouti, or however you pronounce his name, that dude's like in jail, serving consecutive life sentences because of activities that he had in the Second Intifada, which is the reason why, by the way, Israelis are so radicalized. As many excuses as we make for the Palestinians, as like, well, of course they're going to respond this way. Look at all the violence. Well, where did all the right-wing governments of Israel start coming from? In response to the violence of the Second Intifada. And you mentioned about how like
the occupation.
sure, and you can say that, but like you just said that like, well, there are going to be 10,000 terrorist attacks. There already were hundreds of terrorist attacks from 2000 to 2004. That
That's
happened
because
all
of
throughout
occupation.
Israel.
So
Well, sure,
for-
but then and the occupation was in response to an invasion from neighboring countries. And I mean, like you can play the, you can
Is
go
it?
back. Yeah.
That was like 58 years ago. It was 56, 54? How long ago was that? But we're still pretending that that's what the occupation's about.
Well, I mean, that's where it came from, right? That's when Israel originally invaded.
No, they just like occupying them. Keep it real. They like, hey, we get to be the powerful, finally. And look, I get it. It's like it's
Wait, if they just
cathartic.
like occupying, then why did they give the Sinai Peninsula back to Egypt for peace?
No, so by the way, that's a great question. And Israel, who is the they? There is no they who is Jewish or they who is Israeli. There's a wide range of opinions. They is the right-wing government of Israel. So thank you for that clarification, right? The Netanyahus of the world. On the other hand, if the right wing, like Yitzhak Rabin and like Ariel Sharon, say, "Hey, you know what? I want to do something different. I'll take it. I don't need any change. I don't care about your domestic policy, etc." In terms of Hamas popularity and Palestinian Authority popularity, the reason Mahmoud Abbas is so unpopular is because he works with the Israelis 100%. If you say that guy's not a partner for peace, then you don't want peace. But he has no credibility because he's never brought anything back for all that working with Israel. But
I'm just
hold
focusing.
on, let me finish real quick. If he were to say,
Jeez.
yes, you were super frustrated with me because all I ever did was work with Israel, but at the end of it, ta-da, I got the Palestinian state, then, of course, not everybody, not overnight, but tons of people go, oh, okay, that was his plan, and he delivered. And now we're free. Then we love Mahmoud Abbas.
Yeah, I don't think
I mean,
that's
that's
gonna.
purely
He
credible.
can't create that state without the Palestinian support. Like you can't. He can't serve as a representative, realistically, a representative of the Palestinian people. If he has none of the support of the Palestinian people. If Israel were to try to negotiate with Abbas. Basically, as a sole human being to try to create some government, there would be massive uprisings, there would be violence against Israel's, violence against settlers, violence against IDF. This would happen, and then I think people would be on the news saying like, well, of course, why are they trying to negotiate with Abbas? This guy isn't even a leader of the Palestinians. He's literally refused to hold elections in this place for almost like 2 decades. Like, why would they even try to negotiate with this guy? He doesn't represent the Palestinians. He's just a dog of Israel. He's just a servant to the IDF, like, which is what Palestinians right now currently think of him. This idea that like,
I can answer it.
okay.
So, look, Destiny, if you eliminate every single person as either a terrorist or a collaborator, and hence not a partner for peace, you'll have purposely eliminated every partner for peace. So conveniently, you can continue the occupation for another 56 years, pretending it's about the invasion from Jordan like 2.5 million years ago. So that is a pathway to no end, right? On the other hand, if Abbas were to get into those negotiations, you think the Palestinians would say, no, we don't want 2 states.
Yes.
No, let's do more terrorism because
Yes.
we don't like Abbas.
Yes, that's what all the
Some
popularity
will,
poll. That's what all
but
the polls
a
show.
great majority will not. And so, and here's another thing that's going to happen with Abbas. All of the Arab states are tired of this because their own populations now despise Israel and America so much that it's destabilizing their governments. So all of those Arab countries who want to deal with Israel, they want to go economically, etc. Saudi Arabia, the leaders of Saudi Arabia can't wait to do a deal with Israel. They've said that in 100 different ways. They're like, we don't care about the Palestinians, we just want the money, right? We want to do a deal with Israel, with America, etc., and get back to regularity. So all of those guys are going to put tremendous pressure on whoever the Palestinian negotiator is to get a deal. America's going to put enormous pressure. I think the Palestinian diaspora, the Muslim world is going to put a lot of pressure to get a deal on the Palestinian side. So that is your best chance. And so if you do a vote on Abbas
before you start, he has no chance. If he gets them a state and gets them freedom, and then you do a vote, then he has a terrific
I just don't understand. You can't get a state and get freedom when you don't have a mandate from the people to negotiate on your behalf. And Abbas doesn't.
So that's okay. So good. So Destiny, good question. And do we have a mandate from the Palestinians? So guys, I want you to think this through. Again, like if you're on the Israeli side and you want Israel to be a safe haven for Jews, as it was designed to be, think through how are you going to get there? So right now, if you say, well, the Palestinians hate the Jews. Well, a lot of them do. You're not wrong about that. Now, why do they? You say, oh, general anti-Semitism, we're the victims. Look, you're kidding yourself. You're totally, utterly kidding yourself. There is anti-Semitism all across the world. That's true. Jews have been victims all throughout history. That is totally true. But if you think the Palestinians hate you purely because of ancient hatred and anti-Semitism, you've gotten totally detached from reality. They hate you because you've been occupying them for 75 years and you've been brutalizing them and humiliating them and killing them. No people on earth wouldn't hate you under that circumstance. And it doesn't matter whether you take out Israel, Jewish, and you put in Buddhist and Thailand. It doesn't matter. Anyone who's being occupied, of course, is going to hate you. So if in the middle of that occupation, in the middle of that war, in the middle of that hatred, you go, no, I'm not going to deal with them because they don't like me enough. Well, then you're never going to get the peace.
It's not about dealing with somebody because hold on, it's not about dealing with somebody you don't like them enough. I'm just saying that the Palestinian people aren't going to accept any negotiations that Abbas is doing.
That's what I'm getting at, Destiny. But if you think because of that hatred, the Palestinians don't want peace, you're totally wrong. Totally, utterly wrong.
Okay, but to be clear,
they want two-state solution.
I don't. That's not supported in any of the polling data that Palestinians want a two-state solution. And when you say that people want peace, I think peace is a reductionist argument. People don't want peace. People want justice, right? If Israel were to offer Palestinians a two-state solution where all of them move into the Gaza Strip and that would cause peace, like nobody would be happy with that. They wouldn't consider that a just resolution to the issues that they face. I think that the issue is that Israel historically, I say historically, I don't even, like in the attempts to negotiate peace for the Palestinians, it feels like the people that get most support from Palestinians are radical groups like Hamas or radical actors, not people like Abbas, not the Palestinian Authority, which I think is historically unpopular with Palestinians, or Abbas, who is incredibly unpopular. And I think that issue, I don't know how you deal with it exactly.
There may have been a federal announcement today, guys. Look at this drop.
Religious, cultural, political, social issue that you have to deal with in terms of like bringing the Palestinians
to a
calmer place. That has to happen before any kind of
none of us should be
negotiations happen. Because again, like I mean, going back to the start of this, you can't negotiate with Hamas. Nobody would expect anybody to. That just can't happen. Your leadership can't be Hamas. And if Palestinians hold free elections and they elect more terrorist groups, well, what are you going to do? How do you negotiate with that group of people? It just doesn't. It can't happen.
So Destiny, you got it backwards. Okay, so in my opinion. So let me explain. Whenever there's a conflict, war, occupation, etc., going on, the radicals will always win. So you saw it in Iraq, where the most radical groups got to be the strongest, because in the middle of America bombing Iraq, the Iraqis weren't going to magically go, God, we love America. Let's pick some moderate Shia Muslim leaders to negotiate with the Americans about how much they're going to kill us and how much they're going to take our oil, etc. No, they're going to do what every human does, which is, who's going to kill them the most? They're killing us. Who's going to kill them? Oh, you guys, the most radical guys, want to kill them the most? We're with you. That's what happens with every human being in every conflict, okay? So in that cauldron, if you say, I can't believe they picked a radical group, that's it, I'm not negotiating with them, you'll never get to war. You'll never get to peace. That's just a fact. So on the other hand, if you get on the road to peace, and my God, if you got the peace, will they stay radical forever? Now, if you say that, it's almost a racist position. Like, once you get to peace and security and justice, you're right, it depends on the contours of the deal. If at that point you think the Palestinians will still attack you, you're basically saying, I don't think they're like other human beings. I think they're violent savages and nothing will appease them.
No, they don't have to be violent savages to be motivated to enact violence against Israel just because of the group of these people in the history that has involved, like, Israel and Palestine. Like, the reality is for the entirety...
by the way, it's totally mangled.
What's mangled?
So the Israelis, not Israelis, Jews and Muslims, including Palestinians, lived there for
We're not. No one. I don't.
centuries
So
in
for
peace.
the way that I don't care about Jews and Muslims. I don't think that's relevant here. I think what's relevant are Israelis and Palestinians. Jews and Muslims did live together, even in this very region, kind of happily. But the issue is that, by their perception, European people came in who were also Jews and then created the state of Israel, and this is where a lot of the issues come from. But I mean, I don't know how relevant that is to today. The reality is the Palestinian people that are there don't like the Israeli people that are there. I don't think that it's an anti-Semitic-driven hatred for them, although that bleeds into a lot of it since now Palestinians aligned with so many anti-Semitic and extremist groups like Hezbollah or the Houthis or Iran. But I think that the only way, like, I can't think of. So here's like an idea that I have. I don't know if this is actually true or not, but my guess for why radicals always win when it comes to rising up against countries is probably because radicals don't stay in power for very long. You've got coups, you've got radicals. They take over a government that's failing, but then eventually, inevitably, radical groups never hold power for long. Once they fail, something more stable happens for a long period of time. It's always those stable regimes that start to fail that have radicals come up that are offering something different in order to convince the people that we should try this instead. But I don't think you can negotiate peace with radicals and then just slowly over time turn them moderate. And also, if you're an Israeli citizen, why would you ever think that that would happen, given the entire history of like your two states existing next to each other has been violence?
Yeah. So I'll address your questions, which I think are good ones, in a second. But Destiny, you see that you seem to be saying Mahmoud Abbas is perceived as a moderate collaborator, so we can't negotiate with him because he won't have the credibility. And Hamas is radicals, so we can't negotiate with them. It seems like you've eliminated every negotiating partner. And if you want further war and occupation, that's pretty convenient. I don't think you want that. So help me understand who you think can be a partner for the Palestinians.
Something that I thought was a really cool idea that I saw floated on Twitter that supposedly Egypt, Israel, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia were talking about. I don't know if this actually amounted to anything, if it's true, but it was the idea of another country stepping in and them hosting a government basically there. That Saudi Arabia would send somebody to the West Bank and they would serve as trying to create a transitional government. I think that sounds like an interesting idea, although I can see a billion ways that would go wrong, but at least it would lend some credence or some stability to a government there. But I can't even imagine how Iran would respond to that or what that would look like. Again, I can see a million ways of it going wrong, but Abbas can't be negotiated with because the Palestinian people. Cenk, I'm sorry, but at no point in human history has anybody negotiated with somebody with no mandate from the people. You just can't do it. Even Arafat himself was pressured by his thought of losing a mandate for the people for negotiating.
Look, you're totally assuming it. You're assuming that the Palestinians don't want two states. They don't want peace, and that's a crazy assumption.
But it's supported by all the polling data.
No, but.
Wait, how do you wrestle with that? How do you wrestle with the fact that the majority of Palestinians, when polled, support?
Of course. If in the middle of my family being murdered, you ask me, "Do you support the murderers?" I'm going to say no. No, I don't support the murderers.
And I agree with you, but now you're just. But they've seen Israel as being the murderers for 60, 70 years, or for the entirety of them existing here.
And then you say, "Hey, Cenk, look in that unfortunate analogy, your family got butchered. Do you love the guys who butchered? No, I don't. I hate them. And do you like the people who work with them? No, I hate them. Now, do you want it to stop? Well, yeah, I do want it to stop. Okay, so now how are we going to get it to stop? Now
you got to start sacrificing.
Are you in favor of that guy stopping it or that guy
Each side has to make a sacrifice.
Well, now that's a different question than
I love
it. It's called sacrifice.
We have to. Okay, I feel like this is a very Western imposition when we say stop and when we say peace. I'm trying to get people to move off this. Nobody in the world ever wants peace. MLK didn't want peace, right? We talk about like the uneasy tension that exists when there's peace but not justice. What people want is justice. The problem is when you look at Israel and you look at Palestine, their definitions of peace oftentimes are highly conflicting. For Israel, peace might mean where they annex parts of the West Bank, where they continue to push the Palestinians into increasingly smaller land, they control their airspace indefinitely, and then they make a two-state solution where they're essentially occupying both states still, right? That might be peace for Israelis. Peace for Palestinians might be a one-state solution where every single 6-7 million Palestinians get a right of return, they all get to come back, they get to vote, they get to create a Sharia law, Islamist government, and that's peace for them. When we talk about peace, that's not relevant. What's really relevant is what is justice for both sides. And as long as Palestinians' form of justice is, whether it's terrorist attacks or whether it's encouraging to fight against the Israeli government, this is the history of Palestine and Israel, is them constantly fighting against each other. And I don't know why we make this excuse for Palestinians where we're like, well, of course they don't support Abbas and they don't want to negotiate because their family's been killed. That's where all the right-wing governments in Israel came from, was from Palestinian terrorist attacks, especially the Second Intifada from 2000 2004. There's like the biggest radicalizing moment for so many Israelis. I don't know why we don't grant them the same leeway. Like, oh, okay, obviously Israelis are super radicalized as well.
Obvious reason why, Destiny. I mean, come on, you're a smart guy. One side is occupying the other side. So for you to say, oh, they're all equal, I can't believe the Palestinians didn't accept their occupation and fought back. That is just, they're just so radical and nuts, right? And it's definitely their fault. And the other side goes, what? I was just occupying them for 75 years. What? I can't believe they attacked me. No, there's one side that is definitely guilty overall, and that is Israel, for doing the occupation for 75 freaking years.
Israel's the one that moved in there and kicked people out. Israel displaced
the occupation
thousands
is the
of people.
core of the problem here.
People were already
You're
living there,
trying
man.
not-
They just
you're
decided they
trying
were
to
going
avoid
to
the problem because you kind of want the occupation.
cleanse
So,
the area of
be honest with yourself, and I'm
residents
addressing the audience,
and
not
put
you
Israel
specifically,
there.
Destiny. So, as long as the people are occupied, they are going to fight back. If you deny that, you're just on a different planet. Like,
I don't disagree that the occupation is a thing that bothers a lot of Palestinians and drives them towards a more radical position.
Yeah.
But I think one thing you don't understand is a lot of Palestinians consider Israelis present in the Levant, in this area, to always be an occupation. For some of them, a two-state solution is an occupation still. And I think for Israelis, I think the worry is that even if you did tomorrow negotiate a two-state solution, not only would the attacks not stop, now they're going to be elevated because now they've got their own country to launch attacks from. Now when we go and attack them, now we have to like declare war and it's going to be a whole other thing. Why would Israeli citizens, what faith would they have that Palestinians would be peaceful after negotiating a two-state solution if Israel does right now acquiesce to all of their demands?
So two things about that.
You
Number
wanna
one,
shoot me?
if you stretch that out, that means if we ever give them a state, we think
You
they're going
wanna
to attack
shoot
us
me?
more, so we're never going to give them a state. And that is actually exactly what Israel's doing.
So what we do
then
on this
you're
show,
permanently the bad guys. I know it breaks your
quarter
heart
of the
to
hour,
think of
look
it
at the
that way,
clock
and
up
you
there,
won't
guys.
accept it. No. Occupying 5
you
million
can see it on the
people
full
and
screen.
humiliating
On the
them
full
daily
screen,
and just
rumble.
rubbing their face. We're in charge. You don't get to be free. You're always going to serve us.
Cenk is being mean.
But you should love it. Okay? So, no, the occupation is definitely the core of the problem. Now, if you say, hey, wait a minute, the Israelis want peace afterwards and justice, and if the Palestinian state then attacks Israel, okay, but then I'm 100% on Israel's side. And so then we have a completely different dynamic. But if you say, because they might attack us, even after we do peace and justice, I'm never going to give them a state, you're saying I'm going to be permanently the bad guy, permanently the occupier, permanently the oppressor.
Okay, wait, I'm curious. Let's say
That's
now,
a fact, right?
let's say that, I mean, in a very reductionist way, kind of, let's say that Palestinians had a state, and it was a combined state of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Let's say that this was granted to them, a year ago.
Oh, right
and then
on,
let's say
Snake.
that
Way to go,
October
buddy.
7th happens again. Would you support the current Israeli invasion into the Gaza Strip, everything else the same? The same number, 25, 35, whatever thousand deaths, 20 to 30% were Hamas militants. Would you support the same Israeli military operation to the Gaza Strip if they were their own country?
So that's a really good question.
Okay, fair enough. You don't want to listen to that, Billy. Okay, we'll turn it off. I don't have to listen to it. It's cool, bro. We can just chill. We can watch the waterfall, bro. I'm down. I'm sure Cyber's cool with that. We got the waterfall going, bro. I really don't care what these guys have to say about that. But we're just gonna try to schmear him out. So, cheers, Cyber. Cheers, everyone. No longer gonna get us.
Yes, bro. Cheers, everybody.
Schmear him out. All right.
Thank you very much. Good night. I will see you on the next show. Thank you, Cyber. Thanks, everybody. Peace. I'm at Nays Garden on Twitter. At Nays Garden on Twitter. At Nays Garden Show on Instagram. But Instagram sucks. Just a slice of life.